joined by Marnie Perner very, very shortly. We're talking today about worry. And I was decided to do this because Robbie Holtz, who was with me last week on Angel Heart Radio, has written a book, Vibrant Living. And day 44 in the wonderful book, Vibrant Living, is all about worry. And the fact is, we don't have to worry. However, so many of us do. So I thought that was a really, really good, shall we say, topic for today. If you're watching this anywhere else but on Angel Heart Radio, you will need, and you want to make a comment, you need to go to Angel Heart Radio Facebook page, and there you can comment, which will be fantastic. I will look forward to that. So please go there and see what you can see what you'd like to say as we have this conversation. Angel Heart Radio has wonderful, wonderful guests as well, and fantastic hosts as well. After this show this morning, you can take a little breather and then join Anaya, Joy Holilly and Carol Ann Cross as they present a show each Thursday as well. Of course, Thursday here in Melbourne happens to be Wednesday in the USA, Canada, and very early Thursday morning in the UK. Wherever you are, especially if you're in the UK or Europe and watching live, well done, because it's very early in the morning, very, very I think it's 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. How I miss Simon Swain, and he used to join me every week on Angel Heart Radio, on Blog Talk Radio, no matter whether it was 1 a.m. or 11 p.m. Simon was always there. God bless him. So I'm wondering if there's people who would like to make some comments, and I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop. No, I'm not going to stop at all. I'm going to say a very, very big welcome to Marnie Perner. I decided that I was going to do it this way this morning just to see what I could do. And of course, here is Marnie. Hello. No, Marnie can't hear me. That's interesting. You can?
I can now, yes.
Oh, beautiful.
First.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, here we are, Marnie.
We are.
And I was talking about worry, because for me it's a subject that I love, because people tend to worry and we don't need to.
Well, you need to work out why you're worried and do something about it.
Exactly. And sometimes it's simply realizing that it's not my problem.
Yeah.
And
how do you work that out, Annette? How do you do it personally?
Well, I look at, is this, okay, is something concerning me?
Mm.
Is there something that first of all, is it my responsibility? Is it mine? And that's a really big one, because I think how often do I hear a mother say, oh, I'm a mother, I worry. And those two statements don't have to go together. No. And we're spending...
I think sorry, you go on.
I think, we do. Worry is useless, because if anything, if I'm concerning myself with something that I think might happen, I'm giving that energy. So I'm really doing myself and everyone else a disfavor.
I find I teach a lot of people how to, as you just said, identify whose worry it is. So is it mine or is it someone else's? Because you don't always have capacity or the ability to change other people's concerns. So you have to sit down and, as you say, the first step about worry is, what am I worried about? Okay, well, let me identify, if I can, what it is. And, you know, even if you write words down on a piece of paper and then look at them, you go, oh, really? Is that what I'm worried about? You know, a classic one that I often use as an example is the bride that worries about the weather. There is no point in her worrying about the weather without taking action on it. So what she needs to be able to do is say, okay, is it going to rain on my wedding day? What contingency plans am I putting in place if it rains? So that way she's taken the worry out of her head, put it on a piece of paper and come up with a solution. So it can still be a concern and she can be mindful about it, but she can be prepared.
Yeah, that's a very good one. I know as my sons were growing up, if there was something, maybe they'd forgotten to do something, or if there was something that really annoyed me during the day, I would write a note, and then so it was out of my mind, and then before they came home, I'd reread it and see whether I still needed to have that there or whether I could discard it. And a lot of the time I could discard it, which was fantastic.
Yeah. It's harder to address. So I get a lot of worriers in clinic. Well, it's part of their anxiety and concern. So it usually comes to a head as stress, all right, because the worry accumulates and builds and grows. And when that does, it then forms a reaction within the body. And if you have a low system or something within your body system that is what I consider the fall guy, so we all have a fall guy in our body systems, well, then that will present, the worry will then take over and that fall guy has to address it. So the hardest worry to help people can deal with are the worries that they can't really identify. Or although they can make sense of it and they know what it is, telling someone not to worry about it doesn't help them at all. You have to have solutions for their worries. Otherwise, you're just adding fuel to the fire.
Right. Yes. Well, certainly identifying something, and then, of course, realizing, Marnie, that we have support, not only here on earth, but of course we have angelic support. And how many people don't realize that from the day we're born, we have a guardian angel who is always there. And so we can offload our concerns. And as we know, to be able to share our concerns is so often by sharing with someone, it doesn't seem as heavy.
No. I know with little ones, they can't always tell you why they're worried. They're fearful about something, they're worried about something, but in their heads, they haven't got the life experience to be able to voice exactly what they're worrying about. So sometimes you need to be creative with little ones. So if you have a worrier, and some children, like the heading for today's show was, are you a worry ward? Some people are born that way. Some little ones are worriers, and that's just who they are. So with those, what you need to do is give them strategies to cope. You know, a child will, even though they can't always formulate what they're worried about, they can often tell you what colour the worry is. So if you have little ones, ask them, has it got a colour? Is the worry a colour? And talk to them about what that colour represents. And can they change the colour? So can you, instead of thinking of it as orange, can maybe you think of it as purple, and purple mightn't be quite as scary as the orange concept. So, you can, and that's without identifying actually what they're worried about. Right? It's just this worry that they can't tell you about. Well, can you give me a colour? What colour is the worry? And it's a way for them to maybe have for them to be able to practically do something to help them with the worry. Right? It's just an easy way with children, or give them a smell. What smell does, talk to them at their level and ask them if they can express anything at all that can help them cope with the worry. Because sometimes their worries are they're not hidden worries, but they're subconscious worries, like, worry of the dark. Okay, well, do you want a night light on? Would a night light help you? With some children, the night light forms more shadows.
Yes.
Okay, so that exacerbates their worry. So what else can you give them that helps them? And I know something that I used quite a lot in clinic many years ago, not so much now, but it was around for quite a while, is there's a lady called Patria King. She does the healing for people that are traumatized. And she used to do a radio show, and she has this beautiful tool in her I suppose product line that you could buy, and it's the rainbow ribbon. So what it is, it's a piece of rainbow ribbon, and at either end is a heart, a felt heart, and it was the connection from one heart to another. So if a child is worried about mummy having to sleep in another room, well, look, this is mummy's heart and that's your heart, and as long as this rainbow ribbon is here with you, I'm still connected to you, so we're still connected. So it takes some of that fear and worry away. So it's something that people can use. So it's called the rainbow ribbon, and it's all about that. I'm here with you even if I'm not. And again, you can do that with the angels as well. Your guardian angel is here. So what represents your guardian angel? Does she have a smell, or does he have a smell? Well, when you smell that smell, the guardian angel's with you.
Right.
Tools, practical tools to cement the solution. Yes. So it's anchoring the solution that you're finding for people. And it's not always about you or me or someone else working out how to fix the worry. It's about the person who's got the worry. What solution are they looking for?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Not our problem. Yeah.
We have to come back to our own selves, don't we? And as you say, identify worries. And I know
absolutely
that sometimes a girlfriend was saying this morning, and she's totally in overwhelm at the moment with what's happening. And she said next week's going to be a quiet week. Just
so she's got time.
Well, she has got time, but certainly she just feels as though there's so many theories, there's so much going on. It's like, okay. And the thing that's come to me recently, Marnie, is it's all of us. It's up to us to look at, okay, what sits well in my heart. And we do have to be responsible for ourselves and our own thoughts. And so that comes back, am I worrying? Sometimes we might not realize, we might be anxious and we don't know why we're anxious.
Yeah, sometimes you're just on edge and you're not always aware. So there are times that you won't identify straight away what the worry is. And that's often that hindsight thing. In hindsight, you look back and you go, that's what I was worried about. So something's happened, so it's formulated, and you can look back and go, that's why I was anxious. But that, again, gives you a tool. So if that anxiety or anxious state comes up again, remember the time where you realised what it was. So can you preempt? Can you sort of say, okay, well, last time it was about that. Is it similar? Does it feel the same? Ask yourself questions, like use yourself as a guide and ask yourself, how does it feel? What colour? Does it have a taste? Just try and work out some things. And if you can't work it out for yourself, who do you know that can help you do it? Because it could be just a friend. You ring a friend, go, I don't know why I'm worried. I'm worried about something, but I can't place it. And it's amazing how they can look into your circle and go, well, do you think it might be, I know what's happening in your life. Do you think it might be this or that? And what action can you take that helps you to address that worry?
Yes.
Yeah.
So often by using somebody else's soundboard, it can be, thank you, because by having to articulate, we can often come to our own conclusions.
Realization, absolutely. Yes. And have I shared the worry box with you before? There's a couple of techniques that I can share across the session today, and one of them is the worry box. Right. Now, worry box, and when people are highly stressed, they worry about what colour the box should be. Don't let the box colour be a problem. It's just a box of any description, or a vessel of any description that you can use. But what you do is, when you have a lot of worries, like people that are experiencing a huge amount of worries, it's usually not one thing. It's not isolated. You know, Murphy's Law has compounded many more other things to add to your worries of the time. All right. So what I get my clients to do is get some paper and a pen, and on separate pieces of paper, write down your 10 most challenging worries that you have at this present time. Right. And don't use your subconscious awareness. Don't try and articulate it perfectly. Just write, you know, stock market crash, or the virus, or what colour dress should I wear to the wedding? You know, don't go into fine detail. Just write down what your worry is or your concern is. When you've written it down, don't even reread it and check spelling or anything like that, or put dots or anything like that. Just fold the piece of paper up in 4. So fold it in half once and then half again, and put that in the vessel that you're using as your worry box. And do that with 10 of your biggest worries. If you have more than 10, 10's enough. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just do 10, all right? Because what it'll do is it'll take 10 out of your head straight away, which might leave the others to percolate a little bit more. And then what you do is you get a diary or an appointment book and make yourself an appointment for a later stage. It could be the next, I usually say at least 2 to 4 days later, unless the worry is so urgent that you have to make a decision on it today. All right. But again, write it on a piece of paper and put it away. But generally, write your concerns and make an appointment with yourself and give yourself permission to worry. Because what's the first thing someone says to a person that's worrying a lot?
Don't worry.
Which is not helpful, because you're already worried. How can you not worry when you haven't worked out what to do? So telling someone not to worry, they're not in your boat. So they're not in your energy field. So it's, you know, don't tell them not to worry. give them a solution. How can I help you worry less? Something like that. All right. So you put your 10 worries in this vessel. You've given yourself an appointment with permission to worry. Because that's the other thing. When people have got a lot of worries, they feel guilty about the amount of time they're giving to worry. All right. So we want guilt-free attention. So when the appointment time is up, go and settle yourself down, have something nice around you, and get the box or vessel down and open it up. Take the single sheets out singly and read what that concern was or that worry was. Now, it may have disappeared, but it may be still relevant. So when you look at it, you say to yourself, can I do something about this? Or is this still relevant? So it's a tick, right? Okay, so have I got potential to do something about it, or is there something I can do? If there's not, you go, okay. Get your egg. So the other thing I forgot to mention was an egg timer or a stopwatch on your watch. Get the egg timer out. Give yourself permission to worry about that particular item for 3 minutes. Walk around the house, throw your hands up in the air, kick a box, do whatever you have to do, but you have permission for 3 minutes to worry about that particular thing. When that 3 minutes is up, you fold it up and you put it back in the box. So you've kind of given yourself, you've taken action by worrying. And quite often, by the time you get to the 10th one, so many have taken out of the box because they've changed. They're a different worry, or they've been fixed, or something's happened and you don't need to worry about it anymore. And you can keep doing this, but you keep giving yourself permission to do it. And it's called the worry box, and it just virtually gives you permission to worry.
Right. Okay.
All right. So I can make it. I've got a PDF. If anyone wants one, just put a message in the show, and I'll send them the PDF.
Right. Okay. Cool. So that's one strategy. And yes, another one is, as we were saying, to identify what is it that I am worrying about, and okay, is it my responsibility? What can I do about it? What do I choose to do about it?
Or want to do?
Yeah. Well, yeah, same thing. Yeah. And one of them, of course, is to ask for angelic assistance. And yes, we have a guardian angel, and we have lots of other angels around. And I know that some of them are there for specific reasons. And so, you know, for our audience today, if you're hearing some of this for the first time, have a look, research different angels. We've got some, especially people in Melbourne, you've got some extra time. So give yourself a little project.
Is there a COVID angel? It's sure to be.
Yes.
So actually, there's a book that I use sometimes. Just hang on a sec while I get it. I'm not going far. I'm just going just here. So sorry.
No.
Sorry, I should have had this out. It's a book on the angels, the Angel Oracle book, right? And it has at the back of it, it has what a lot of the angels or the different angels worry about, or their specific, their specific.
What they look after.
Yeah. So, and there's a whole stack of them in here. So that, you know, there's all sorts. Difficulties is Archangel Michael, of course, and Archangel Uriel. But there's a whole stack in here, and some of them you don't know. So it gives you, as you say, it gives them something to do. So find out who the angel is that you're connecting with and investigate them. Google them.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's sure to be something on the Angel 777 website about the different angels as well.
That's Angel Light 777. Yes. .com. And Naya's website, which is fabulous.
She's got some gorgeous things on there that help people to understand some of their tools and help that we have, especially in the angelic region.
Marnie, would you like to hold that book up and tell us who the author is, please?
Yes, certainly. It's Michelle Newton, and she writes the Angel Feather Oracle. So it's the companion book to the Angel Feather cards that I use frequently in clinic. So Michelle Newton has, she's a Melbourneite, or a Victorian lady.
Victorian, yes.
Yeah. So she's got a beautiful shop called, it's not the Angel Eye, Emerald City, or I'll have to find out. But she's got a lovely shop where you can go and play with angels and gemstones and stuff like that. I think it's in Shepparton.
Yes, she is in country Victoria. And Michelle Newton is also on Facebook. And so look up Michelle Newton or Google Michelle Newton.
Yeah. And it's spelled unusually. It's Newten, not O-N, I think. Newton.
All right. Yes.
But Angel Feather cards will find her. She does the Angel Feather cards.
Yes. And so that's how people could get onto the book as well.
Yeah. And I sell the book from clinic. So if anyone is interested in them, I have a stock. I'm one of Michelle's stockists for the cards and the Oracle books.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So they can get it from me as well.
And also, Marnie, you have your own book, which I have lent to my mother.
Oh, good.
I thought, because it's such a useful tool, and I dare say we would find the worry box in that book.
Yes, it would be in the book. Yes, I don't know what chapter. You have to look through and find it, or look in the index. It'll be in the index, because it is one of the very practical, easy tools that people can use to help themselves.
Which is what I love about your book. So I want you to mention that, please.
Okay, well, let's create
calm amid the chaos.
Yeah, creating calm amid chaos. So it's a simple self-help book that you can open it. Sometimes you can just go and open it, and whatever page it opens up, you go, oh, really, that's interesting. I needed that today. Or else you can be intentional and read more. But you don't have to read it from cover to cover. It's one of those things you can just pick up and read when you need to. And with that, from that book, I created a 5-week de-stress program as well, which is also available for people. So it all grows.
Well, I know, and if people are watching you for the first time, they also need to know about your website, Kinique.com.
Yeah, Kinique.com. That's KINIQUE.com. And I'm on Facebook as well. I'm quite often on Facebook.
Well, you do some wonderful projects on Facebook.
Yeah. I do 20-day experiences for people. So I've got, I think I've got 29 different groups that I can use at any time. So they've been creating, because again, with this recent time, I mean, we can't help but be aware that life has changed a little bit at the moment, all right, for everybody. And whether you agree with it or not, you're still affected or impacted by it. So what I found was that people needed to raise their vibration. They needed to be more engaged with positive rather than always the negative. And it's not about putting your head in the sand. It's about saying, yes, I understand this is all happening and I'm all part of that. However, I need to raise my vibration to feel better for myself. So if I feel better for myself, well, then I can help other people to feel better as well. Because I'm like you. I mean, you're a big believer in joy and happiness. You know, and we're here to experience joy and happiness. It doesn't mean stuff doesn't happen. What it means is we need to raise ourselves back to that joy and happiness vibration.
Yes.
You know, and the way to do that sometimes is to remind people. And I've had a lot of people comment and contact me and say, oh, I'm so enjoying those affirmations, or gee, I love the facts about whatever. And so it means that people are engaging in it. And you're not always aware, are you, Annette? You're not always aware of the impact that you're having for people.
No. And it's so important, because by doing good, spreading kindness to others, we are raising our own vibration. And I think too, helping ourselves to feel better. I might wake up and it might be a cloudy day or whatever, but by putting a little bit of joy in somebody else's life, it's a double deal, I guess, and it helps me feel good as well.
And see, one of the quintessential human traits for joy and happiness is hugging and touch. So we've sort of been a bit can't really do that. Well, I mean, your immediate family, you're laughing if they're local, but if they're not, you've still got to be aware and cautious. And like I had and I went out and actually met up with a couple of girlfriends the other day for coffee, and we all went so we cheered each other with our cups instead. But you know, that joy of a hug and touch is quintessential to humans and any animal. Animals love to curl up and hug, and they're the main benefits or benefactors of this non-human hugging at the moment, is that we're putting lavish love onto our pets, which is great, so long as the pets understand that will come a time where we have to go back to work, or we have to, you know, not be 24/7 just with them, because they're going to go through their own set of worry and anxiety. Right? They're animals, but they'll feel it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. The animals, the dogs that have been out for walks and many walks.
Exhausted. And have you seen all the cat memes on Facebook that said, humans aren't meant to be around this much? What happened? They said, get a human. They're never home. Suddenly they're hugging you everywhere. So
it is fascinating. Yes, all of the different situations that we find ourselves in.
Yeah. But again, we can laugh about them, and that's what I think you have permission to do. But you've also got you owe yourself the joy of laughing at situations. All right, and I'm not talking about laughing at really bad situations. What I'm talking about is you need to raise your energy, and with that, it's almost a guilt response or reaction if there's a big trauma or a big event like the bushfires or the floods or anything like that. When I was part of a healing group that went out after the Helidon floods in Queensland in 2011, I think it was, the overriding energy of the area where I worked with people was one of guilt and worry about being seen to be too blasé about what had gone on, or worried about the fact that they didn't lose their house, so therefore they felt guilty because their neighbour lost their house. So, you know, you have to help people to uplift. And Australians are very good at that. When there's a catastrophe and a big event, they uplift and they lift people's spirits by caring.
Yes, and laughter, I agree. I mean, at times we've been seen as it's black humour, in inverted commas. However, it is a way of coping, and you can say, oh, that's naughty, or oh, that's a bit close to the bone, but very clever. And so
humour gets people out of a lot of sticky situations sometimes. Even you know, humour that's considered a little bit darker than it should be, it releases that valve of response. It allows you to do it because it makes you smile and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that, but it felt good, you know. Yeah.
I've got one girlfriend who's very, very clever at making any situation, you know, she might find herself in an embarrassing situation and she'll be able to put the humour into it. And it's a gift. It really
is a gift. My gift is, you know, I open my mouth to change feet. I get myself in trouble without even trying sometimes. Then they're madly trying to get your way out, sort of thing. Yeah. So humour it is a gift, and I think the gift of laughter people that have that as a skill is really good too. My mum was a great punner. She could turn a word into something lighter and more fun. And she reckoned I hid behind the doors in several gifts. One of them was singing and the other one was punning. So when they were being dished out, apparently I was otherwise occupied. So, it's really bad when I start singing.
Oh, now everybody can sing.
Yes, but there's degrees of singing and not. It's like listening to someone learning a violin. Not always melodious. Never mind. In a group, I'm good. No one hears me.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's something else that has come to the fore, virtual choirs and
they've been beautiful.
online. Yeah.
They've been absolutely inspiring. You sit there listening and you get goosebumps, And it must be lovely for people that's what their passion is, to be able to still share their passion.
Yes, absolutely. And it's something that people might be drawn to, something that they haven't done for a long time or forever. And it really is so uplifting to be
And it's that collective energy as well, isn't it? And the being part of something socially, being able to connect still. And we've done, I'm a volunteer for a women's group, and we've had to do all our meetings online and do Zoom, which I love. I'm quite happy with that, but it's nice to have the actual ones. But we're still doing, like, when there's a certain day in May where we all light a candle for those that might have experienced domestic or family violence and have paid the ultimate price. And normally that's a gathering in parks and around things, but we did it as a virtual. But you could still be very intent and mindful about what you did. Like, you still lit your candle and you still listened and you still connected to the energy that you needed to for that time. So it was actually it's still as stirring to do those vigils as it was doing it as a group.
Right. Well, the one thing that I have seen, because we've been doing virtual meetings, you can cover a lot more people.
I'm in here, John.
So you can hear, like, for instance, I'm in a meditation group with a group who normally meet in New South Wales. Now, I wouldn't be able to be part of that. And so much has widened because we've gone on to internet meetings. So
we love the internet, don't we?
Absolutely.
Angel Heart Radio has just been engaged for 10 years now, nearly.
Exactly.
Through internet, through connections and the lives and the people that we've reached with our experiences and our pieces of wisdom and just chats, which have then gone on to create opportunity for other people to chat about a similar kind of subject, whatever we've been talked about.
Yes.
And I was always amazed at the early days when there used to be 3 different segments. Remember, we had 3 different segments and there were 3 different people. Yes. And you didn't usually collate or work out anything, and you had a topic, but it wasn't always the same topic, but we always ended up talking about a similar thing, didn't we? Because you'd listen.
It went, the circle. That's where I know that I'm being guided, absolutely guided by what comes around. And Robbie Holtz, who was on last week, Robbie used to be with me, and she said, Annette, you do 3 hours, and I did, from Heathrow Airport, 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. It was a scream.
There with phones up in the air trying to get a signal.
So incredible.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. So we're old school now, aren't we, with this internet stuff?
Well,
I know. I hear you, girl. Like this morning, madly trying to get the internet to stay connected. Internet, come on, I need this.
And they're the times when it's so important for us to go, okay, we have angelic assistance. And
breathe.
There was something happening for me that wasn't working the other day. It wasn't internet, it was something else. And it was like, okay, ask the angels. We have this plethora of help. And sometimes we do forget to just call them in. They're willing and able. However, we have to remember we've got to ask.
Well, they're not mind read. Oh, they are, but they're not always. They've got lots of minds to read. So sometimes we need to connect. You have to take that's a bit about the ownership, isn't it? You have to take ownership and ask for help.
Absolutely.
And then that's okay as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And to realise that there is lots of different help. So, okay, again, coming back, I have a concern. What is the best way for me to deal with it?
And who's the best person to call? You know, sometimes it's like a doctor or a practical thing, or a plumber. So you've got a problem with your water supplies. Well, the plumber's the best guy, not so much the internet person. So it's a matter of working out who is the person that I need to get the experience or expertise from. So,
yes.
it's very good.
I read once, Marnie, where the best time to deal with a problem is when you realise it's a problem.
Yeah. Don't put it off. Yeah. So with the worry box, you're allowed to put it off and just think about it.
Well, the thing is, though, if I put something, if I procrastinate over something, that's when it can become a worry, rather than going, okay, what can I do about this?
Yeah. And worry is really, really good friends with that, you know, the fella called fear and anxiety. Well, they're all mates. And they have a really big party. When it's really a lot going on, they live rent-free in your head, and they have a party. And they invite all those other more negative concepts to come along and get in your head, and your head's filled with so much head trash and nonsense, or not nonsense, but it just builds and builds and builds and builds, and it's got to have an outlet.
And if we don't give it an outlet, that's when it seeps down into our body, and over time we suddenly find ourselves in a dis-ease, or something like an accident happens.
I often refer to it as a health deficit. So if you don't pay the stress or take knowledge, or take notice of what your body's trying to tell you. So the messages your body's giving you, eventually it'll say, okay, we're not taking any notice of all these small little things that I'm telling you about. Let's give you a big one. Right. You will take notice of it. So it builds and builds and builds, and it has a debt to be paid, and the debt is generally your health. Now, with a lot of worriers, the health that they end up paying is mental health.
So I would like people to realise too, I like the idea of the feather, the brick, or the Mack truck. And it's like, are we aware? Are we listening? Because, we can, the nice little touch of the feather, have prod. And then if we ignore that, then along comes the brick.
Ouch.
That's right. But
definitely on the toe, not the head.
How many people suddenly then find themselves with a Mack truck? And
I know,
oh my goodness. We can save ourselves a lot of concern by being aware of what might be concerning us, and then taking action. And sometimes the action, and I know, look, a lot of this, it's really easy to say, it's not as easy to carry through. However, gentle steps, and to be kind to ourselves and go, okay, yes, I have this challenge. What can I do about it? What can I do today? What can I do tomorrow? And it might, little steps, and to be aware that, hey, I've managed to do this much.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Annette. What you just said then is to acknowledge the progress that you're making. You may not have fixed the big picture, but you're getting progress. So accept that and acknowledge it, and be happy, and kind of high five yourself. So if you can anchor that acknowledgement, it means that the emotion of excitement that you've got somewhere should be higher than the worry that you're facing. And as even if it's only a little bit higher, at least it's higher. So that'll become the default response from the brain. Okay, so you're building that pathway, you're building that neural pathway to a solution.
Right.
We don't go mad at babies for not getting it right straight away, but we do with people,
Well, that's interesting. Yes, Robbie Holtz was saying how when babies start to walk, they'll fall down. And so we have to be patient with ourselves, and we make a mistake. There's nothing wrong with mistakes. We learn from mistakes.
Absolutely.
Having a go.
I often say I don't know what age it suddenly becomes no encouragement. It just happens. It just kind of happens that suddenly you don't get encouraged to do things. You get yelled at for not doing them. Whereas the babies, except when they hit their heads constantly, you end up yelling and haven't you learnt your lesson yet kind of thing. But generally with babies, it's, but never mind, you fell down, but look how far you came, and you pick them up and you cuddle them, and that's the enforcement or the reinforcement they need to keep going. Because they're creating those neural pathways as well. They're a physical pathway within the body. And the connection is from your brain to your muscles or your emotional response. So, and I was looking before at the word worry. So worry comes up on my emotional chart over here. If my glasses worked a little bit better, I'd see it quicker. It's in the fire element of life, which is in the Chinese philosophy, it's the red element, which is all about your heart and your triple warmer, your small intestine, that kind of region. So worry comes into that. So it's quite fiery. It's quite red. Right? So it's a very significant, they're all significant, but the fire, because it has the heart in it, it takes the heart out of your life. So worry will deplete some of your heart energy. So you do need to find things that uplift your heart energy. And that element also deals with like hormonal response, because it's the they call it the sex, or the it's just part of the emotional response. So something happens and you have an emotional or a hormonal response to what's going on.
Right.
Okay, so just be aware if it's really taking the heart out of you, what can you do about it? What can you add into your life that increases it or fills in some of the gap that you're finding?
Yeah.
Right.
And worry does become a habit. And and like any habit, yes, we can change it. So, Marnie, you've given us a strategy. I know Robbie in her book, Vibrant Living, has given people a strategy similar to yours. She says a worry time, which is really good.
Yeah, same kind of thing. Yeah, just it's hearing it a different way or a different method, but it means the same thing. It's permission to worry. But it's limited. It's not indefinite.
That's right, yes. Because sometimes the thing is, if we don't park a worry, it's in the back of our mind all the time. And worrying about something is wasted energy. So what as you're saying with your worry box and what Robbie's saying, is to, yes, give yourself permission to worry for a set time, but then park it and try
allow it to. Yeah. It's that dog in the bone thing that if you keep worrying about it, you keep trying to change things straight away without giving it any intention or direction. So parking it's a great idea.
So I hope that we have managed to give people something to think about, strategies, and you have your book, you have your website, you have your practice that, of course, you are able to help people the world over, which is absolutely fabulous. Again,
I love it.
Using the internet.
Yeah. And have you heard the worry tree or the namaste tree? It's an old Chinese proverb. You will have heard it. I probably call it a different name because I can never remember the actual thing, but it's the proverb of the old Chinese builder who's doing some work on this building site, and there's a lot of stuff going wrong. And at the end of the day, he wants to go home, and he goes to his truck and he's got a flat tire, so he can't drive home. So the owner of the property says, well, look, I'll give you a lift. And in the drive to the builder's house, there's a lot of worry and a lot of talk going on about how negative everything is and how depressing. But he turns to the gentleman and says, well, thank you for the lift. Would you like to come in for a coffee? Now, the driver's sitting there going, I couldn't deal with any more of this because it's just been overwhelming. But, courtesy-wise, yes, I will. But just before the old Chinese man enters his house, he turns to a tree that's just to the side of the door. And he turns to the tree and he does the namaste and clasps a couple of leaves and bows to the leaves. And then as he turns back, his whole energy has changed. He's suddenly a calmer person, he doesn't look bowed down with his worries, and the guys look at him going, oh, this is magic, what happened here? Anyhow, they go in to have a cup of tea, and when he's leaving, he's walking out to his car, and he says to the gentleman, what happened? What changed from you getting out of my car to entering your house? And the builder says, well, my family don't need my worries and my burdens, so what I do is I hang them on the tree, and then I go in and I'm relieved, and I can be a family man and be more at ease with my family. And he says, as I come out in the morning, sometimes they're gone. They're not. And he said, if they're still there, I pick them up and I take them with me so that I can find solutions for what's left. And I call it the namaste tree, because it's that whole, bowing of thanks. But it's, again, what have you got where you can hang your worries on, or put your worries on before you deal with something else?
Yes.
How can you offload or unload? Is there someone who you can chat with to voice some of the worries that you've got, where you're not asking for their opinion, you just want to be able to chat about something without them feeling as though you're just offloading all the time, and then you can then turn to whatever and fix it up. So sometimes you're a sounding voice for other people. Yes. And that's a gift if you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes to get a different perspective, which is because the more we worry about something, the more that we're sort of looking at it like this, rather than, okay, can I take a step back? Is there another way of looking at this? Whatever. How can I address it?
So I hope we've helped the worry warts.
Yeah.
I think that the underlining thing is reach out. If you really need it, reach out. Who do you know that can help you the most for that particular worry? Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And when you are aware that something is concerning you, own it. Rather than pushing it off. Yeah. See what you can do about it. Well, Marnie, thank you. That's all right. My pleasure. I didn't have no card today. It's just the book. All right. So it's the Angel Oracle. So there was one angel. So hang on a sec. The Angel of Clarity was the one that said to say, and it's Angel Ramiel, Ramiel. So everyone has homework and they can look up Angel Ramiel. I'm probably not saying that correctly. So it's Ramiel. It's not one I'm familiar with. Yeah. So he's the angel, or she is the Angel of Clarity. Beautiful. Well, how appropriate is that? Now, if people want to reach out to you, they can via Facebook or Kinique.com, Kinique. And if you would like a little practical read and assistance, it's creating calm amid the chaos. Yeah. So, and that's available in three ways too, Annette. So you can get it an audio book, so if they're not local, or they can get it as an ebook, or it's a practical book as well, a physical book. Right. Yes. Isn't it? We're so blessed these days with all these different ways of being able to read. Yes, and find out. Anaya and Carol Ann are coming up at 11:30, which is, in a little time. You can give yourself a little break. Yep, go and have a cuppa. Moving. We've got time, so yeah. Yeah, we need to be able to move so that we're moving the energy. So rather than sitting, and of course we can listen and we can watch while we're doing other things. So we're so blessed these days. We are. Yeah, we are. And then if we heard something but we're not quite sure how we heard it, you can listen to the recording. I know. I can watch the recording. So blessings and gratitude, everybody. That's another key. So important. Be grateful that we have something that is concerning, because we're able to look at it. I believe there's always a blessing in everything, even though we might not be able to see it at a particular time. So you can always take your learning. Yeah, take your learning to help you at another time is something I say too.
That's a good one. Oh, we could go on and on and on. We've got so much.
We generally do.
That's right. We've got so much to share, and
Yeah.
it's such a joy. So thank you very, very much, Marnie, and thank you to everybody who has been watching. We appreciate it.
Yes,
Until
thank you.
next
Thank you,
time.
Annette. You're beautiful to chat with.
Okay. Bye-bye.